Hi everybody, it's Andrew Bebb with Midwest Fishing Club, and today I'm going to show you a different way to use your Wacky Rig tool and Wacky Rig a bait. I've gone and I've done videos on regularly hooking it through, and that's a great way to do it. And then I tried the rings, and I found out that with a ring, I wasn't quite getting the hookup that I normally would get. So I saw another video, and I'd love to give props to whoever it was, but I can't remember who it was. No, I wish I could remember. But they used 2 rings. And the reason for it, I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Wacky Rig tool, if you've never seen one before, looks something like this. You actually slide your worm into the about center way, and you have a bunch of rings on this end. Actually, I need to go and get some more rings because I'm almost out. But you'll slide it on about halfway through, and I'm going to slide 2 rings on. And there's a reason for this. The way I was fishing with the rings, and it'll make your worms last a lot longer. I mean, it will. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But the way I originally was working it was that I would, you would slide it in like this, and then, but what the problem is, you slide it in like that. The problem is that a fish come up and bite it, and you get that, and they tear out at it, and you wouldn't get the hookup. Unlike the original way of doing it, let me get this, easier said than done now that I've hooked it. The original way was to hook it through like this, so your hook came out like this and you'd have more hookups. Well, I like the rings because it makes your worms last longer, but I don't like the rings because I get fewer hookups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take these 2 rings and I'm going to cross them over each other. Or I'm going to try and cross them over each other. Easier said than done. So now I've got an X. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this hook and I am going to put it underneath both of them, not through the worm, just underneath both hooks. If I can get it to come out the other side right. Under both rings. Now I've got the hook the way it's supposed to be, out the side, so I get more hookups. And I'm still using the rig, because what happens is a lot of times if you get somebody, especially with the softer Wacky Rig worms, if you get the Yamamoto rig worms, the bass will hit at one end and they'll just tear that hook right off. They'll tear that worm right off the hook. But now it's not going anywhere with a double cross like that. So let's give it a try and see if we can't catch a few fish. And with Wacky Rigging, of course, you throw it out there and you let it sink to the bottom. It'll flutter down to the bottom, and you want to keep your eye on your line, because that's going to tell you if you have a strike, because they're going to hit it, and if they run towards you, you'll never know you got a hit. If they run away from you, you'll figure it out pretty quick. But you're just going to let it sink to the bottom. Lift your rod up after it's been on the bottom a few seconds to pull that fish up, that rig up, and then it'll flutter back down to the bottom. This is actually my favorite way to bass fish. I have more luck, I have more confidence with a Wacky Rig than anything else. And I usually catch fish when I string it up Wacky Rig style. Although today, I've been having a hard time catching fish anywhere. I fished both my ponds. Just to give you a little idea, the weather's dropped in temperature about 15 to 20 degrees in the last couple of days. We had a major storm come through, dump about 3 to 4 inches of water. The water's high, not really so much high, but there's so much new fresh water in the pond, and water fish have been in for a while. They're going back deep, coming off the shallows. It's kind of screwing up my spawn here, but that's what way it works. It also washes all that food down into the water, so my bass aren't as hungry as they should be. Just want to lift that rod tip up. It'll pull that worm back up, and it'll let it flutter back down. I've had a lot more success with hooking up the rings this way. Yes, you're using double product, but these rings don't cost much money. You pick them up for nothing, and I get a lot better hook sets and a better hookup ratio.